And one interesting finding, which is a cross-cultural finding, talented children, they tend to be the firstborn children of their families. So if you look at the birth order, this is the Finnish sample, you can see that the majority of them were firstborn children of their families. It's the same finding also in these other countries. That's an interesting question, why? Do we raise firstborns differently? That's something we can discuss later. Then we studied educational level of parents. And here you can see the educational level of Finnish fathers. Majority of them belong to the highest educational level, academic degree, doctors, lawyers. But you can see that there was a very big portion of fathers who didn't have any kind of education. They were like farmers, very little education. And I think this is telling something about the Finnish educational system. Even if you come from a very poor family, you have lived in the countryside, you can still, you go to school, you have the teacher who is supporting you, you can still make it. So you are poor and smart in Finland, you have a chance. We also look at the income levels of both fathers and mothers, and a very interesting finding, which is very different from the other countries, is Finnish mothers' income level. Finnish mothers, most of them belong to the highest income level, and mothers had a higher income than the fathers. No other country in this study has this trend. Another trend in Finland, what explains academic achievement, is mother's education. In Finland, if the mother is educated with an academic degree, the children are going to do very well in school. So that's like almost the biggest explanation factor. Here you can see that mathematics and science is a male field in every country. So the top performers in maths and science are males. And here you can see some percentages. I think today these percentages are a little higher, but still I think the distribution is the same. So in the Taiwan sample, they had 9% women. In US sample, 9%. And if you look at the European sample, in Finland we only had 5%, and if you look at the Germany, only 3%. So in Taiwan and in US, they have a lot of Asian population. And Asian women, they are usually doing very well in math and science. And their educational system is also different. So many of the US competents come from the Asian background, where academic achievement is very much emphasized. And I know that for the Asian females, they have their mother who is taking care of their children. So this is something I learned. In many Chinese families, the grandmother takes care of the children. Then we studied what are the contributing factors. What has been the explanation that these Olympians are doing so well? And we compare the questionnaires. We had 14 items we asked them to rate. How important is this issue? An interesting finding was that parents, mothers and fathers, they rated all the items more important than the Olympians. For example, the most important factor that both parents and children agreed was the home. What kind of home they came from. So the home atmosphere was very conducive to learning. The second important factor is good teachers. So even those who didn't have that good home environment, who came from different kind of conditions, they usually had good teachers who supported the child. Also, Olympians wrote themselves down issues that were important. And in Finland, we have a fantastic library system. Even if you live in the countryside, there is a library bus that comes to you with the books. So wherever you live in Finland, you will get the books. And all these kids said, that it's my active use of library. I spent my life in library. They were just reading. They usually learned to read very early, and library saved their lives. Also, self-discipline. In math, if you want to be talented, you need to train. So even if you have a gift, it requires self-discipline. They practiced, and they liked it. Also, they were very early learners. They started early. So my early learning in maths and reading was one of the explanation factors. And they were passionate about their subject. They said that I have such an inner drive. I want to learn, I want to excel, I want to be the best. So they wanted to compete. Even the girls that was like the population was small, but all the girls said, I want to compete, I want to win. So they're very competitive nature. And also they hated to lose. That was another motivation. How about hindrances? Can these talented people be stopped? Not very easily. If somebody has an inner drive, usually it can't be stopped, but it can be hindered. But these Finnish Olympians, they reported very few hindrances. Some of them included not enough challenge. Courses were taught at too low a level for me. So school didn't give them enough. They read it from the books. Also social and emotional factors. Other children were envious. 1/3 of mathematically gifted people are bullied. So especially elementary school was almost like a hell. They were bullied all the time. They didn't have friends. Harassment, or they were ignored. That's almost as bad as being bullied. Especially girls were ignored. Nobody wanted to play with them. And also the Finnish educational system with the emphasis on equality. Our system is built on equality, which is fantastic. Everybody can get the chance for a good education. But the negative side is that everybody should be the same, and that's not equality. And sometimes gifted children suffer from that.